This is the video for Monday, April 20th, and this is my middle school grammar class. And I would like for you to turn to page 175 in your book. Today we're going to talk about our writing that we're going to be doing this week. You will have a final due on Thursday, so that will get turned in on Friday with your work. And let's just read together and talk about what we're going to be doing for this writing project. Dramatizing a scene. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice, as of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. Revelation 1:10-11, 17. Have you ever seen a play performed on a stage? Many plays consist of several acts, each act having several scenes. There are many ways to define the term scene. In a general sense, a scene is simply a short section of a play. Okay, so you're going to be writing a play, but not an entire play, so don't be overwhelmed. You're just writing a scene, a short section. Okay, now not as short as your papers were this last time. I let it go. It was our first time doing at-home learning, and so I wasn't really particular about the length of your writing, but some of your writing was like this long as a final draft, and so we know that in middle school this is not an acceptable length of writing. So I want you to, your writing should be about a page long as a final draft, not spaced. Okay, so a play is going to look a little bit different, but at least it gives you kind of a measurement of what I'm looking for. Okay, so you're going to choose a passage from a Bible account. Okay, it says or a story, but I want you to choose a Bible story that you like. There are lots of Bible stories. Jonah, Noah, there's Meshach, Shadrach, Abednego, Daniel in the lion's den. There's tons of stories from the New Testament where Jesus is interacting with people. So, I mean, there are a lot of stories. There are major prophets, minor prophets, King David. So if one of those stands out to you, you can pick one of those. But you're going to write a dramatic scene for a play based on an excerpt that you choose. You're going to put in stage directions wherever where characters enter the action, or a new idea is introduced, or a new scene begins. All right. Let's see. Planning. So today is your planning stage. So let's read that together. Choose the passage to adapt. So the first thing you have to do is choose your Bible story. Keep in mind that the text you choose should include some kind of conflict. Okay, so we're not looking necessarily for a psalm where it just talks or tells a story. We're looking for conflict. There's a problem. Okay, so there's a problem in Daniel's in the lion's den, right? Okay, so we need to choose a Bible story that has a conflict or a problem. Conflict in literature is any kind of problem or disagreement. Sometimes the conflict is between 2 or more characters who have an opposing view on an issue. Sometimes the conflict is within one character who must choose between 2 contrary courses of belief or action. So take Jonah, for instance. It's not really a conflict between him and another person. It's his conflict within. Is he going to obey God, or is he not going to obey God? Okay, another type of conflict sets a character against a force greater than himself. So that force might be God. So I think of Jacob's ladder when he wrestled all night. Okay, so that is a conflict. One student was assigned by his teacher to select a passage from the book of Esther to adapt it as a scene from a play. You may not use the book of Esther, okay, because this is your example within the book, okay? Of course, we know the conflict within Esther is that the Jews were going to be destroyed by Haman. So that was the conflict that was happening there. Okay, so you need to determine your purpose. Okay, what lesson or message do you want your reader to learn from your scene? In this dramatic scene, we don't need to talk about that. Develop your characters. So you need to determine why you picked that scene. What are you trying to teach people? Okay? What's the lesson in the scene? develop your characters. You need to identify the characters that are in your scene. Okay, so if you'll look down at the box, they have the king, Haman, and the servant, and the example of Esther. Okay, and you'll notice that under the king, there are characteristics about that king. Okay, ask yourself these questions. What kind of interactions do your characters have with each other? What part do they play in the scene? What do the characters need to do in the scene? You're going to write a brief character sketch for each character describing both inward and outward characteristics. Okay, so you're going to do something like this little brown box on page 175 where you list your characters and then underneath them character traits or what some of the actions are going to take, what the problem is. Okay, so that way you're really thinking about your characters. Then you're going to plan your scene. Okay, the text that you have chosen may provide descriptions that will help you plan your scene. These descriptions may be physical. Okay, so Jonah got on a boat, right? So enter Jonah on the scene. Jonah's going to need to get on the boat, right? So simple actions, you need to be thinking about that as you think through it. Okay. So today, what you need to turn into me, you need to Marco Polo me a picture. You don't have to do it to your class. So what I need is a piece of paper that says the scene that you're going to dramatize, that you're going to make a play out of, and then so the passage, and then I need to see the character, like the brown character box, okay, for you. So those are the two things that you need. Tomorrow you're going to do drafting. Now it gives you examples, and I'm going to let you read through this on your own. What does a play look like? Look at the examples, okay? So it talks about who's speaking, and then it has a colon. Look at how it's set up, okay? How the I'm going to just show you. So on this, see how who's speaking, and then do you see how all of the actual what's being said is indented? And you've read several plays before, so you should know how to do that. There are some dialogue indentations. I want you to read through the drafting. If you don't understand what to do for drafting when you are writing your rough draft, Marco Polo me and ask for help. However, today to get credit, you need to send me your planning stage so I can look at that and make sure that you've chosen a topic that you can work with well, and that you've really developed your characters, and that you're ready to write your rough draft tomorrow. Okay? Marco Polo me if you have any questions.